What is up, guys? Today we're taking a look at this case right here, and I don't even know if I would necessarily call it a case. It's more, I guess it would sit between a pre-built and a PC case, and we'll tell you all about it. So it is the Cooler Master TD500 Max. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, this is actually the third Max case from Cooler Master. The first two were the NR200P Max and the NCore 100 Max, both of which we have reviewed, so I'll link those videos below. But those were small form factor or mini ITX systems where having pre-installed components made a lot more sense. It made it really easy for you to not have to worry about what's going to necessarily fit in those systems. Now, will that translate to a larger system like this? Guess we're going to go ahead and find out. Now, talking about those pre-installed components, this case is going to ship with a 360mm AIO, an 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply, and this rear 120mm ARGB fan. Now, the case itself is based on Cooler Master's TD500 Mesh V2. We actually reviewed that case and we have a video on it, which I will link below as well. Now, Cooler Master has made some modifications inside the case to make your installation much easier as well. One of the first changes that Cooler Master has made to this case is the actual colorway. So we have a gray colorway. The original case came in white and black, but this gray is going to be exclusive to the Max version of the case, and I really like the way it looks. At the front of the case here, we have this nice fine mesh. This is going to allow for proper airflow into the case. We have our Cooler Master logo right here. And if you want to go ahead and access these pre-installed fans, if you wanted to go ahead and swap them out, if you needed to clean them, very easy to go ahead and do that. So we just pull on this from the bottom, and this easily comes off, and we have our fans here. As we take a closer look at the fans here, they're actually part of the ML360 Atmos Max AIO that's built into this case. This is a 360mm AIO, and the reason they're calling it Max, not just because it's part of this case, but because Cooler Master actually made some modifications to it. So the original cooler actually had their sickle flow fans. Here we have their flagship Mobius 120P fans. These provide better airflow and higher air pressure than those fans. And as you can see, the actual blades connect to an outer frame, again, giving you that really great airflow going into your system, and of course, going, across that radiator. The second change that Cooler Master has made to the AIO is in the actual radiator. So the radiator here is actually 38mm thick. It was around 27mm on the original AIO. So having a thicker radiator means more surface area, which again is going to provide for better cooling overall. Right at the top of the case here, we have all of our buttons and connections. So we have two USB 3.0 Type A ports, a small little hard drive activity LED. We have our large power button here in the center, and as you can see, that will light up when you turn your system on. We have a combination headphone and microphone jack. We have our button right here for our lighting. Now you can actually reroute this to be your reset button if you want to. And then we have a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-C port. The rest of the top of the case is going to be ventilated here. As you can see, this is just a magnetic filter that you can easily remove. And at the top of the case, we have some cooling here. So the top of the case will support 3 120 or 2 140mm fans, as well as radiators up to 360mm. Now you can actually remove this top section of the case for easy installation of fans or radiators. The main side panel of the case here is a tempered glass panel, and there are some grooves cut into it to make it, stand out just a little bit. And there is a TD500 Max logo right up here in the top corner. Now removing this panel is really easy. So what you want to do is remove the locking screw at the back here. It's just a simple thumb screw. And then you just want to pull on this little tab and it will unlock the panel, and it will just sort of sit here. See how I can just kind of move it? That means it's not going to drop and scratch up your desks. Then you just go ahead and just remove it and you're inside your system. Looking inside the case with our system build here, you can see we have a pretty standard 2-compartment design. The main compartment, of course, is going to house your motherboard, and this case will support motherboards up to ATX. Now let's go ahead and see how installation went with our motherboard and some of our other components. When it comes to building in this case, things are really easy. So I went ahead and I prepped my motherboard, installed everything on my motherboard that I needed for the AIO, then went ahead and slotted in my motherboard, installed the pump block here on my CPU. Really easy to go ahead and do that, and the instructions are easy to follow. Now, when you install this, you want to make sure the Atmos logo is right here on the side. You will notice inside the case, we actually have some power connectors that are part of the motherboard tray. And what Cooler Master has done is they've pre-routed a bunch of your power connections and put the connectors there. So they have included these really cool extension cables, all individually sleeved here. And you'll go ahead and connect those to the connections on the case and then connect that to your motherboard. So this is the 24 pin. So we'll go ahead and put that in. Very easy to, again, go ahead and do this. Again, that one's in. Very nice and easy. And then we have our CPU. Again, very easy to go ahead and do. So we'll connect our CPU. Same thing, super easy to go ahead and do that. Now the one down here is an 8-pin for PCI Express, but we're using a newer graphics card, so we're gonna use the new connector here. The last thing we need to do on this side of the case is install our graphics card. We're gonna be using a Gigabyte RTX 4070 Ti Super, and for those wondering, with the radiator installed in the front of the case, you have room for graphics cards up to 380 millimeters. So getting this in, you just line everything up, of course, and put it right down in the slot. Good to go. And of course, the cable's already out here for us. We'll go ahead and run our cable and connect everything, and we are good to go. Another thing that Cooler Master has changed with this case is our power supply window here. So we have a cover here, and typically when you were to remove it, it would just show the side of your power supply. But here they have all of your mounting screws and everything, really convenient and easy to access. Installing an SSD in this system is really easy. So you have two SSD mounts on the back side of the motherboard tray. Now by default, they won't have these little rubber inserts, which I've installed, but these rubber inserts just go in the little holes here. So they kind of just press them in just like that. Now you'll prep your SSD by putting the included pegs right on the back here. And then all you have to do is simply just line them up and press your SSD in. If you are going to be installing more than two SSDs, there is a hard drive cage in the bottom of the case. This will support a single 2.5-inch SSD and then two 3.5-inch hard drives. Now here's what the back of my system looks like with everything installed. Now most of these cables themselves are pre-run, of course, because they go up to their embedded connections in the motherboard tray. Everything to the fan controller was pre-run as well. The only thing I needed to connect into that was the ARGB connection from the pump block. I just simply ran that and daisy chained that in there, no problem. Now there's plenty of tie down points to use with the included zip ties, but I would have really liked to have seen, those big Velcro straps back here. Just made things look a lot cleaner and would have made organizing things a lot easier. With our build completed here, we have a very clean layout. I really like how everything looks. And I like, out of the box, we have some nice RGB lighting on the pump block there, and of course on the front of the case as well. When it comes to lighting here on the case, all four of your fans are pre-wired into the controller that's on the case. All you have to do is wire in the pump block for the AIO, and then everything will sync together with the built-in controller. Now, if you don't want to control the lighting of the fans with this built-in controller, of course, you can pass through that signal to your motherboard for software control. But we're going to go over the different lighting settings that you do get with the built-in controller. So here I have it on everybody's favorite rainbow wave. The next one is sort of this breathing mode with different colors. This next one is sort of like neon colors that kind of switch together. The next one is sort of like this, I guess I call it radioactive mode. And this one's going to cycle through all of the different colors. Then we have this mode, which again is going to cycle through all of your different colors. And this one, again, is going to cycle through all of your different colors as well. And then here we have a pulse mode. So it's going to pulse between different colors. Again, you can't set what color you want with these. They just kind of go through. So as you can see, it's slowly pulsing and giving us different colors. And then here we have a breathing mode. Now in the breathing mode, you can set the color. So we're here at red, but you can just go ahead and just press the button and go through the, I think it's 7 different color options that you do get. And then when you get to white, you'll go back to the rainbow wave. Now, say you don't want the lights on for some reason. Maybe you have this system in a bedroom. You just hold in the controller button for 2 seconds and the lighting will turn completely off. Hit it again, and it's gonna turn back on to the last setting that you had. When it comes to testing this case, we're gonna be testing our temperatures for our motherboard, CPU, and GPU. So here's a full breakdown of our test system. At the beginning of this video, I talked about how this is sort of in between a case and a pre-built, and I really think that it is, and I think that's why the Max series works for a lot of people, because it takes the guesswork out of selecting components, and it takes a lot of the headaches out of the overall build, and taking the headache out of the overall build really translates to a full-size case, because again, the first 2 Max cases from Cooler Master were small form factor. Here we have, a normal mid-tower case, and it really does translate pretty well. The things that, are the biggest pain when it comes to doing a PC build is, mounting your fans, mounting your radiator. That's all done for you. Of course, running all of your fans and running all of your RGB connections, that's one of the biggest pains. That's all done for you in this system as well, which is just really awesome. All you really have to do is slot in your motherboard, slot in your graphics card, and maybe install some storage in this, and you are good to go. Even most of the power connections are already run, and then you use the included, extensions just to connect things to your motherboard. And like I said, you're good to go. It's really easy to build in this system, which I like. And I think that's why this really lends it to be a beginner type case for maybe a first time system build. Building your first PC can be something that's really daunting to a lot of people. And that's why a lot of people do opt for a pre-built. But for somebody who wants a little bit of DIY, but not as much work, this can be the perfect thing for you, which I really like. And I really like that Cooler Master didn't just slap on their default components with this, right? They've changed the AIO from the default version. They've made it thicker, so it's, has much more performance. On top of that, they put their flagship fans on it instead of the ones that it normally ships with. So again, better performance there. With the case itself, I really like how they routed all of the cables and just, you just have your power extensions, which again, makes things a lot easier there. Definitely like that. Of course, we have our colorway as well. So this is the only colorway you're gonna get with this. You can't just buy the case with this colorway. So I like that too. And the price isn't that bad. This is gonna be selling for $399, and we priced out all of the parts, but again, you can't get the custom AIO, but the normal AIO, even with it, it's still more expensive if you buy everything by itself. And again, you're not going to get all the customizations that you're going to get with this case. So overall, I really like this case. If there was anything I didn't like on the back side of the case, I really wish we would have had Velcro straps. It would have just made organizing cables, especially for a first-time builder, a lot easier. But beyond that, this case is awesome, and like I said, especially for a first-time builder. Now, if you have any questions about this case, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. We'll see you guys in the next video.